This is Gray Man Media content.
The moon. It's been there since the world was formed. Or has it? Science will tell you that the moon formed thousands of years after the Earth, and after a comet broke part of molten Earth off into space, into bunches of pieces. And then gravity formed this ball. But there's another theory, or three, that I like. Today, we're going to talk about hollow moon, or spaceship moon?
One type is about 3 feet tall, very dark.
To the search for truth. Little grey men from outer space who actually abduct humans.
We're going sunnies today?
I see you're going shirtless.
Well, I might go grab my sunnies. Sunnies and shirtless. No, this is a fucking fleece layer. It's hot. I'm also wearing...
It's only 64 degrees. Why did you wear it?
I'm wearing sleep pants underneath here. Because it was not 64 degrees. It was supposed to get to 40s.
It was only 60. Oh, that's great, because I have no idea what joke I'm going with.
Oh, I thought you put on the sunglasses because the moonlight was too bright.
That's exactly what I was going for.
It's going to be a great episode, though. It really is.
I can't wait.
A lot of good content. I'm sure you'll provide your own, but still.
I'm here for the reactions only. I gotta let you star in this. Like, this is your bitch.
Okay, but I want you...
Who's fucking this pussy, me or you?
Why can't we both? There's room.
Sir. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Alani.
Action!
Hello, welcome to Wolf Takes a Bite. I wasn't ready. I'm your host, John Wolf, and smelling like cereal, my co-host, Devin Gray.
I'm inebriated.
Welcome back to another episode of Wolf Takes a Bite podcast on 95.5 The Fox. We are going crazy today. Devin just lost his sunglasses, and I tell you it's going to be a real bright one because we're going to outer space.
Hi, Vatic.
Well, that headbanger, he's young. He's not a young man anymore. Oh, this is long.
You're hearing music. Yeah, this is really long.
It's still going. Had to lose all your shit so you couldn't fade out. Oh, there's a good fade out.
It was nice, right?
Yeah, that one was good.
Okay.
Just wish I had thought about how long I was going to go on there. Welcome back to another episode of Wolf Takes a Bite on NPR Radio. I wish.
Nah, man, we're going to do our own thing.
We need a broadcast sponsor.
See, that's the thing. In 10 years, like right now, everybody's always like, oh, NPR, you know, everybody listens to it. In 10 years, they're going to talk about Gray Man Media the way they talk about NPR.
Wow, so we still need a broadcast, though.
We will work our way up to that. As of right now, we're working in a dining room.
Oh, yeah. We're supposed to tell them that.
Are we in the episode?
Sure.
No.
Why not?
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, if you were wondering.
It's damn good smelling cereal. Sounds like breakfast. You know what I had for breakfast this morning?
What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I had mac and cheese. Out of a box, no less. To make it better, though, I did, however, put a little bit of salsa.
What time did you get up?
Hold on, I'm not done. I did put a little bit of salsa in there, and something new that I just acquired last night, which is a ghost pepper pumpkin hot sauce.
What time did you wake up this morning?
About 10 o'clock.
So you got up at 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. Was like...
Well, I didn't eat till 12.
You didn't have breakfast.
No.
You ate lunch.
Yeah.
You can't see when you...
But it's the first meal of the day. It's breakfast. It's breakfast.
When you approached me and said, you know what I ate for breakfast this morning? I'm thinking, 9 a.m. at the latest.
Took a few bites of bacon.
It's like 9 a.m. and you're like, I want a box of mac and cheese. And you know what sounds good? Let's go ahead and put the ring of fire on my asshole with some of this pumpkin hot sauce I got. Fuck it.
See, the trick is you take a shit before you eat the hot sauce.
Well, the thing is, John, is like, I know every day you wake up and choose violence, but like today you were choosing like war crimes.
It was actually not even hot.
It doesn't matter. It's the intention behind what you were doing.
It's just ghost pepper.
It's the intention
It's
of
not
what you
hot.
were doing. You woke
There's
up
pumpkin.
and you were I understand. I get it. I got you.
It's vanilla.
I had Carolina Reaper the other day on some Carolina Reaper sauce on my mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Not boxed mac and cheese.
Well, lucky.
Yeah, well, and it was good. It was delicious, and I think I had it around noon or whatever. That was still a pretty aggressive move. You know what I mean? And you're like, ghost pepper. Start of the day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Seems like war
Jess
crime.
has changed me.
It seems like war crime John has approached today.
My go-to used to be ranch, honey mustard, barbecue even.
ranch.
Ranch and mac and cheese, yeah. Applesauce and mac and cheese,
Oh,
fire.
Okay,
Fire.
now we're talking about thoughts from the mothership content. I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to argue with you about applesauce and mac and cheese on this show. I'll happily argue with you about it on the other show.
This episode's going to last a little longer today, folks. Hope you can buckle in because we're going to outer fucking space.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, full circle. Look at that. Laundry day. Isn't it suck, guys? You never know what shirt you're going to wear. I don't even know where this one came from, but I can tell you where you can get a better looking shirt than this. GrayManMediaCo.com, where we have all the merch from all of our shows. Lots of Wolf Takes a Bite t-shirts. We have lots of Gray Man Media t-shirts, Thoughts from the Mother t-shirts. Just a lot of shirts. Go buy a shirt.
Can you tell that I am an astronaut in training?
I can. You
I'm
know
gonna
why?
be-
It's the sweats and the sunglasses.
I'm going to be the first...
fat man to go to space.
I was trying to get there a little bit more PC friendly.
We
but
don't
yeah,
have time for that.
basically.
This is a shorter show now. We have to get right there. We don't have time for PCs and bush beating.
I don't... No, that's not. That's something different that you're talking about.
Beating around the bush?
Yeah, beating around the bush. So tell me.
that was good.
Why are we going to outer space, John?
Well, actually, we're not.
Oh.
But we're going to be talking about it. Specifically about people who actually have been outer space and been to the moons. For instance, Buzz Aldrin and 12 other men landed on the moon. When they came back, they changed in many different ways because of what they saw. And we're going to get into a lot of detail specifically about their
Titties.
accounts. Moon tits. A lot of craters.
Whoa.
Yeah. Assholios.
Oh, no. God damn it.
Some came back feeling like they had enlightenment. You know, a life-changing experience.
A good pair of titties will do that to you.
So will the moon. You know, seeing the Earth from that perspective, I'm sure it
Yes.
would be very life-changing.
I think we've talked about that numerous times.
Oh,
yes.
for sure.
I agree.
Others came back very depressed and hiding from the media outlets and press.
Well, you realize how small you are. Small and insignificant.
But that's not really, I think, why. Let me tell you. One says that they saw things that the government wanted them to keep secret.
Oh, not the government.
Yes. Things that they were asked to cover up. After stepping onto the moon, Buzz Aldrin's life fell apart. Buzz fell into a deep depression. His marriage of 21 years had ended, and he remarried and was divorced again within 2 years, and then became a raging alcoholic. Within a few years, the astronaut found himself selling used cars to make a living. When approached by the press, agitated and reluctant to share any details of his mission, Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, is found to be a reclusive and withdrawn individual now.
See, I think the buzz thing might have something to do with the fact that anytime we talk about the moon landing, it's always Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and then no one ever talks about Buzz.
It's so
ever.
funny that you say that because in my notes, there is a theory that Buzz really was just depressed that he was the second man on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, you were also part
What
of
does
this
it matter? You
money-
went to the moon.
Yeah, but no one gives a fuck about him. That's why.
I remember Buzz before Neil.
You're lying.
No. I've watched more Buzz Aldrin interviews than I have Neil Armstrong.
That's probably because it wasn't Neil like famous for not doing things.
Yeah.
Like, Well, there
he was
you
a
go.
recluse.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
I watched.
why wouldn't you be?
I watched way more interviews of this other guy who actually did interviews than that other guy who didn't do any interviews.
Neither one of them liked to do interviews. My point was that, like, for instance, Armstrong, being the first man on the moon, he was very reclusive, and he refused to speak to the press. Many people wondered why they would struggle with such an achievement. Even being first and second man on the moon, I mean, somebody's always got to be second, but still, you're the first, second man on the moon.
I agree.
No matter what, you're putting boots on powder, baby.
I think anyone who goes to the fucking moon's pretty goddamn impressive.
But you know what? I don't remember anybody else that went to the moon except for them two men.
Yeah.
Nobody else mattered.
Whoa.
Apparently.
Apparently.
But there were 12 other people who have actually been to the moon.
Yeah.
Yes. Some believe it was because of this whole hoax. I can't read your eyes. This is terrible. Some believe it was this whole thing was a hoax and they never went to the moon at all. Some think that it's because they saw proof of alien life and was told to keep quiet by the government.
That one's not far down the list of things that I believe. Let me tell you.
Good thing you say that, because I'm going to make you even more of a believer. With Buzz Aldrin's actual interview statement, not long after getting back from the moon, he says...
Not long? Are you sure this isn't one that was alcohol-induced?
In fact, this was a statement on the ship.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Over transmissions, news media outlets caught this conversation. Buzz said he saw a light moving along the side of the ship. And if you look at what's available, because they erased the original moon footage, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, they erased it.
They erased the original moon landing footage. They did.
It.
They did. Does nobody... Did you know that? It's fucking stupid crazy, man.
What do you mean? Like they deleted it?
Yes.
It's not a fight. It was on like film, wasn't it?
They deleted it.
They deleted
They
it.
erased it from the archives. They burned it,
No,
all of it.
Not the
If you didn't watch
archives.
the video, if you didn't watch the live broadcast, then you didn't see shit. And how coincidental when you go around the other side of the moon, you don't see nothing.
Yeah, because it's tidally locked. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Tidally locked. So here's the thing. He saw a light moving along the side of the spaceship, yes.
Yeah.
Some think Buzz was just jealous of being a second man on the moon and wanted to, up his reputation.
That's what I'm guessing.
But nobody even really paid attention to that, so that didn't work.
Yeah,
so
here
that
we are.
statement must be true. Therefore, we may never know because NASA erased the original moon landing footage, got rid of it, redacted. Okay? Still to this day redacted, by the way. And then they reshot it with Apollo 13.
Is that right?
Because you're on the moon. Who's going to know who's in what spacesuit? I'm just saying.
Jericho? On the moon?
The animals are telling us that they know.
I was going to say, like, how would we know if he wasn't on the moon?
Uh-oh. Now here he comes.
You can't.
Backing up, to terra firma here. Back to Terra. Many ancient people believe that the moon is a god. The Zulu tribe of Africa tells a tale of two alien brothers that towed the moon into place, giving the earth its rhythms.
Yeah. Sure.
Very culturally endowed. Africa being one of the, well, to be honest, the original place of humanity's conception by all tales and accounts in religion and history and archaeology.
You ever hear of the Fertile Crescent?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Love a croissant.
That's not. Nope.
Especially a fertile one. So, the moon fascinates everybody. Now, here's some little bit of facts for you that make this tale about the moon itself and what its origins are more interesting. For instance, how it is 400 times smaller than the sun. And exactly 400 times closer to the earth than the sun. Giving it one of the most unique abilities in our cosmos, which to our recollection and to our limited knowledge of the vast universe still cannot be repeated, has not been repeated, is the fact that it can completely eclipse the sun.
Mathematically speaking, it probably happens a lot. But I agree with you, and it's one of my main concerns, because, like, what if by some fucking bullshit chance that's what has to happen for life to happen on a planet?
Crazy.
Which would mean that alien species would be very rare.
Now, to counter with that, actually, I agree with you.
I'm just saying,
If
what
the
if
moon-
what if that's what the thing is? You know what I mean?
There's a vast amount of scientists and actually well-respected men of the learned communities, including physicists, mathematicians from all countries, including Russia. Everybody who's actually basically been to space and is part of the space program. What was left of the NASA space program, but the World Communal Space Program for the ISS. The thing is, a lot of them agree that it is almost a 0.01% chance that the moon would even exist. But if it didn't exist, we wouldn't have life on this planet, because without it, the primordial ooze would never of water creatures would never have made it to land and then developed into whatever the fuck we are. That's if you go with the evolutionary theory anyway. But life cannot progress in that manner without these exact scenarios. Now, the other thing is that the moon is tidally locked. It is a satellite around the Earth. Same face, same side, every day. Always moving. At the right speed, at the exact right distance, at the exact right telemetry to protect us from meteors and other debris?
Are you making the argument for God?
No.
Because it seems like you might
Not
be
even
making
close,
the argument.
Devin. I'm making the argument that is a fucking interstellar spaceship that has been purposefully placed in order to develop life on our planet.
It is very suspect.
All of the mathematical probabilities in the world
Are very low. It's very low that all those things would happen.
Yeah.
Adding on that we just so happen to have liquid water. We have an atmosphere that has
We're the
oxygen.
perfect distance from the
We're
sun.
the perfect distance from the sun. We have a giant we have a gas giant, Jupiter, that swings a large amount of comets that would otherwise hit the Earth away from us because of its gravitational field.
What also
I
captures a
agree.
lot. It captures.
It is concerning, to say the least.
I got interested and did some side research during this because I was like, how many planets in our solar system have moons? Do you know how many moons there are in our solar system?
A literal shit ton.
142.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jupiter and Saturn have like a fuck ton.
Jupiter has, I think it's 60 confirmed, 83 total. They call confirmed and
about that.
potentials because there's provisionals. That's what they called it. I actually have the article right here.
Yeah, I don't know,
Right after
60
searching up if
60
Pluto
of
is
them?
still a planet. Hold on. Because that was another side tangent I went on.
It's got its own classification now, doesn't it?
It's a subplanet or something like that.
It's got its own little classification.
How many moons does Mercury have? 0. Venus has 0. Earth has 1, baby, just 1.
And it's a big one.
It's a big baby,
It's a
boy.
big-
Told you it's gonna be a great episode.
It's fucking huge.
Now here's where it gets weird. Mars has 2.
Yeah, they're really small though, right?
They're relatively small in comparison, but so is Mars. Now,
Well, Mars is almost the size of Earth.
almost.
Yeah, it's like 0.8 or something like that.
But realistically, you could traverse the entire diameter of Mars within a day or so.
Relax, it's not that small.
Okay, well, something like that. I'd
It's
look
smaller
up the
than
more
Earth.
specifics.
It's
It's smaller than Earth. But here's the weird thing. Out of all the planets in our solar system, Mars and Earth are the only ones with less than 3. Other than Mercury and Venus, which just simply can't get any kind of debris to them enough.
Well, do you think that that's just because of
Hotter than hell.
Well, I was going to say their gravitational pull is probably much smaller than the gas giants, which are, giants.
Well, I'm sure that has something to do with it, but Uranus also has a respectable 27.
Uranus is also a gas giant.
It has 27 moons.
It's a gas giant.
Neptune?
Is also a gas giant.
I thought Neptune was nice.
Yeah, it's like liquid ice though. It's like nitrogen or something like that.
It
What
has
is
a
liquid
solid
ice?
surface.
It doesn't.
You sure about that?
Google it.
Hold on. Anyway, so my point is Jupiter has 80, 57 confirmed, 23% provisional. Saturn has 83, 63 confirmed, 20 provisional.
I knew Saturn had the most.
I know we have one that's sort of solid, but liquid underneath is what the theory is, according to the Cassini probe.
Well, there's a lot of the gas giants, like at some point or another, the amount of pressure that they'd be under would be.
Neptune is the 8th planet from the sun, farthest known solar planet in the solar system, and the 4th largest planet by diameter. It's the 3rd most massive planet and the densest giant planet. It is 17 times the mass of the Earth and slightly more massive than the near twin, Uranus. Neptune is denser and physically smaller than Uranus because its greater mass causes more gravitational compression of its atmosphere. It is referred to as the solar system's 2 ice giant planets, Neptune and Uranus, 2 ice giants.
I don't think that means that they're actually physically ice.
We'll cover a whole episode.
Well, that's not a conspiracy. That's just
We'll factual check this
either I'm
later.
factually wrong or I'm factually right. Like
I'm factually somewhere.
Well, yeah, we all are, aren't we? Anyway,
Yes.
all of this to say, there's a lot of fucking moons.
The odds are astronomical.
Literally.
Like, quite seriously. Even our nearest neighboring possible supporting life system, solar system away from us, which is far as fuck,
Alpha Centauri.
doesn't have that setup.
Yeah, yeah. Terrestrial planets in general are actually kind of rare.
We haven't found any planet that has green and water together.
Well,
That's
we
not
can't see
deadly.
it.
Well, we can. Cassini probe is on its way. It's got to be out of our solar system by now.
I don't think you. No.
That was something I was going to add to my notes, and I forgot to look up because it was 4 o'clock in the morning. But my point is,
why do you always do your research at 3 a.m. the day before?
it's when your brain is opened up to the questions
day
of the
before?
universe. My brain is open to the information given to me by the universe at this time of hour, the witchingness. And this is the time of your brain's expansion into reality.
Are you quite fucking done?
Maybe. So, yes, scientists say that if the moon were not as it is, life would not have ever evolved past the sea. The moon affects the tides, and the tides made it possible for some sea creatures to reach land, where they eventually evolved into land animals. There's even a science writer, Earl U. Bell, declared that the lunar Rosetta Stone, which is amongst the science community, if you didn't know, the moon is referred to as Rosetta Stone. There's a whole thing about that later. Not in this episode.
Hey, thanks.
You're welcome. There's a lot to cover here. The most real thing we've ever talked about.
Yeah, we're talking about the moon
Facts.
so far.
Facts.
Yeah, so far everything's been factual.
Yeah.
This isn't a Wolf Takes a Bite episode.
Oh. Just wait. I'm just so excited about this episode. The lunar Rosetta Stone remains a mystery. The moon is more complicated than anyone expected. It's not simply a kind of billiard ball frozen in space and time. And it's many scientists there are in the world believe that you have the fundamental questions to be answered by Apollo rocks and recordings and scores of other mysteries from the Apollo missions. Since science and testing has shown that the moon was billions of years older than the Earth and nearly as old as the solar system, Devin. That means it could not possibly ever in the history of anything come from a meteor hitting the Earth, because it doesn't even have the same minerals as we do, Devin. It doesn't have the same rocks. It doesn't have the same composition. It's harder on the outside than it is on the inside. Mm-hmm. It's a complete mind-boggle fuck. Now, if you're going to build an interstellar spaceship, drag it to a fucking solar system so that way you can create life, monitor it for eons. What would you use? A super hard fucking rock.
Yeah, bro, rock. I love rock. That laugh when I said this isn't a Wolf Takes a Bite episode came from the deepest part of your belly. You were like, oh. Woo, giggle-headed chucklefuck over here.
I hope you enjoyed that information and retain it. If you don't, go back and listen to it again.
Yeah, it was good.
That's very factual shit. Now, Devin, let's talk about
I'd have to
something a little crazy. Water on the moon.
In the form of what? Ice?
Oh, no. Water on the moon.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, because, water is the key element to life.
Which there's abundance of it on our
all those spaceships you see copping out of the ocean?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just collecting water to take back to the moon.
Oh, yeah. They drink seawater.
Well, they obviously get rid of the salt. I mean, they're fucking super smart.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they could travel here and, build a space station the size of that's no moon.
That's a moon.
Yeah, it is a moon.
No, it's no moon. It's a spaceship. I'm saying it's a spaceship. Damn it, Chewie. So, water on the moon.
I can't believe I don't have a Star Wars button anywhere on this fucking piece of machinery.
You have failed at life.
I really have, honestly. Like, as big of a Star Wars fan as I am, I don't have a single fucking Star Wars thing on here. God damn
I'll
it.
get some stuff for you.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. It'll be in the next episode. Far too late.
What time? Where are we on time?
Oh, don't worry about any of that.
No, this is going to be the good
too
episode.
fucking good to stop. All right, just keep moving.
This is going to be the hard.
Keep moving.
One. Okay. So here's the thing. Water on the moon, Devin.
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of people kind of argue about. Is there water on the moon? Where's
There's
the
not.
water? Where's the water
really
coming
isn't.
from? There's water.
There's no water coming
There's-
from it. You just said they were taking it from the earth up there. There ain't no
I
water
said that
coming
was a
from-
theory I just came up into my head. I just made that up, but it makes sense.
You heard him. You heard him, right? Someone clip that. Someone fucking clip that.
It makes sense.
Just insert every sentence John ever says
No.
with conviction. Just put that right at the tail end of it. I made that up.
No, never. Gotta compose myself here.
What a great T-shirt idea.
Fucking hate it. So that's where free water. I know I have a lot of typos in here. You just don't know. All right. So the moon can possibly contain free water or even water molecules down to the mineral. Yet Apollo 16 astronauts found moon rocks. It says phone, but I'm sure it means found. Found of moon rocks.
You mean you? You mean humans?
Shut the fuck up. Found moon rocks that contain bits of rusted iron. Now this is crazy.
That's
This is crazy.
That's something.
right? Because you're in the vacuum of space. There's no atmosphere.
Sure.
Well, limited to none. Right? All right. So there's rusted iron, which requires oxygen
it. Does indeed.
and water for iron mineral to oxidize.
Does it require water?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's water and air.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's what humidity is.
We live in the cesspool of it.
Wait, hold on. There's no atmosphere on Mars.
Oh, there is.
Well, it's
There's
very
actually
limited.
a pretty dense atmosphere.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not an oxygenated atmosphere.
No, it's not dense at all.
It's not like Earth atmosphere. It's not like the moon's atmosphere, but it definitely has
The moon
an atmosphere.
doesn't have an atmosphere.
Mars has weather systems. That means it has enough atmosphere to be able to do.
You show me what a Mars storm looks like right fucking
the dust
now.
storms on Mars.
That's not. It's,
It doesn't
it's-
blow out into space.
It's solar wind.
Sure, get real.
Get real. Holy shit, this man just told me to get real. Go for the love of God, man. Tell me more.
So it requires oxidation, which means oxygen,
It does.
and free hydrogen. This rust indicates that there must be water somewhere on the moon. Furthermore, instruments left behind by Apollo missions sent signals to Earth on March 7th, 1971, indicating a wind of water across the moon's surface. Which means it picked
Water
up
wind.
water wind. Atmosphere is very light, so therefore it had water wind. But it had particles of water, and there was physical evidence in some of the areas where that was documented.
If the atmosphere is so light and thin, how is it strong enough to carry up something as heavy as water?
There's the rub. Now,
I would.
That
agree.
means the water has to come from within the structure, right?
Quit saying structure like that, like it's a thing. All right, it's not a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a moon.
Oh, it is a thing in space that shouldn't have water but does. Now let me tell you something else. NASA says this. This comes from the astronauts in NASA. And when you would not, there's a cuss word. And when you would not either notice, I told you I have a lot of typos. I was typing so fast, okay? Bottom line, there are.
Allow me to paraphrase so this makes sense for my argument.
All right. It is almost impossible for there be water on the moon. Now, when the Austrian astronauts were on the surface of the moon, they had material, on their spacesuit that would turn damp, moist, dark. It would cling to them as if it was wet. How is that possible? It would leave considerable smudges, and I don't know how that got on the knees of our spacesuits.
That's really something. Yeah, remember when Neil Armstrong came back down from the moon, and during that first interview, he said, "What year was that, by the way?" When they went
71.
Was
Oh
it
no,
70?
that quote was in 71, but 1960 something, 64.
So in 1960 something, Neil Armstrong came back down and he said, "In 2022, John Wolfe
We'll solve the mystery.
is 100% correct in everything he says." Remember when he said that?
No,
Oh yeah, it's fact, bro.
you know what? It sounds right though.
Yeah. Neil Armstrong.
So the moon's surface vaporizes water molecules and behaves like the wind on Earth. Now, the question became, where did this water originate? The vapor cloud's eruption lasted 14 hours and covered an area of 100 square miles, prompting Rice University physicist Dr. John Freeman Jr. and Dr. Ken Hills to put it in one event of the most exciting discoveries yet, indicating water within the moon. So there's some factual quoting for you.
Were they there?
From scientists.
Were they there?
They somehow documented this using the
Keyword somehow.
They have scientific
Are
equipment
you
on the moon.
arguing for science right now? You fucking crackhead? No.
Yes. When science backs up my theory, I back it up.
Exactly my point.
Look, so the thing is, clean water vapor came from deep inside the moon, apparently released during a moonquake, which actually happens quite often, like 3,000 times a year during the 4 years of the seismic activity recordings by NASA.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy. 64 to 74.
That's 10 years.
71. I meant to say 71. Anyway, so apparently released during moonquakes. NASA officials offer the more mundane explanation for this. It is questionable, to say the least, that the speculators would say that it was the tanks on the Apollo ships as they were ejected during the liftoff after leaving the lunar surface that hit the structure and exploded, therefore leaving a vapor cloud of water density. But there's not even remotely that much liquid, water or otherwise, on that module that would cover 100 square miles. Mm-hmm. So I call bullshit.
You would.
I mean, it's just the facts. Now, Not to mention the somewhat Apollo 12 and 14 tanks, they contain between 60 and 100 pounds of water. They're saying that they became stressed, ruptured, releasing their contents. Freeman and Hills declined to accept this explanation from NASA because pointing out that the two tanks from Apollo 12 and 14 were some 180 kilometers apart. On top of that, what are 180 kilometers apart, yet the water vapor was detected with the same flux at both sites. Same amount of force. Yes. Yeah. Now, this could be not even close to possible, right? So here's the thing. There's no way that these tanks would just rupture at the exact same time, releasing that much contents.
Yeah,
which they didn't have in it because they would have used some of that content during their journey.
No way.
No, there's no way. To back that up, there's rocks on the moon's surface that are magnetized. Maybe not strong enough to pick up a paperclip, but magnetized nonetheless. How could rocks on the moon be magnetized when there's no magnetic field?
Well, isn't the theory of how the moon got created like a lot of the
But the moon's already showed that it's quite a bit older than our solar system.
No. You said that. That's not something that's...
Oh, no, science said that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why does science also say that it was created after an asteroid hit Earth?
That's what they indoctrinated high school bullshit.
High school.
That's what they taught years ago, Devin. They don't talk about that no more.
So science says that, but also this says this... And we're just going to completely
comparing
ignore...
something from the 80s and 90s as far as information of what they think happened and what we were all indoctrinated to believe versus what is currently the topic of discussion.
That's currently?
Yes.
This is the current leading scientific evidence.
Yes.
Bet. I'm Googling it.
Have fun. I already did. Anyway, nevertheless... However, there is no magnetic field on the moon itself. So where did the magnetism come from? The presence of the marina as well, which is a lava pit, essentially, covering the surface of the moon, several different places, and large fields of them at that. Where did all that molten inner magma come from? Where did all this heavy, dense material and rock that's on the surface of the moon come from? When they tried to drill into the moon, Devin, they couldn't get even a foot in because of the density of the metals and rock that's on the surface. So all the heavy stuff is on the outside. Then does that leave on the inside? Therefore, that's indicating that there's no way the moon could have a dense core, a dense enough core to cause a magnetic shift of any kind.
What is most widely accepted today is the giant impact theory.
That's incorrect. That theory is wrong.
But that's what's most widely accepted today.
Okay, so if something hit the Earth
Yep.
and got rid of that much material,
Ejected it,
there would be physical signs on the planet.
Well, it was 170 million years ago, so I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm. So the material on the moon has been dated back about 4 billion years older than the Earth. So how is that possible when the Earth's only several millions years old?
Well, that's not true. That's just simply not true.
Huh? How's that?
Yeah, because if you look at how they found this out, right? Hold on.
Are you just reading on NASA? Because I'm sure that's factual.
No, I'm reading this from the Natural History Museum of the United Kingdom. So this isn't even American.
Well, they're dumb too.
Oh, right. The experts, ladies and gentlemen.
It's older than the fucking planet, man. NASA had more access to moon rocks than any other country anyway. Just saying. Just like how we think we're the first ones to the moon, and technically Russia was.
They weren't. Mm-hmm. They really weren't. Hold on. This is just.
I'm waiting.
This is just kind of funny for Google. I typed in when was the sun created. The Connecticut Sun was founded in 1999.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting.
It's almost like Google doesn't want you to know the truth.
Yeah, that's what it was. So the sun was formed about 4 billion years ago. So by that logic, you're saying that our sun and the moon was formed at roughly the same time, and then the Earth came along much later.
Yes.
Oh, you're insane. That makes no fucking sense.
Well, because the moon wasn't always here. It was brought here.
Oh. Okay, all right. Well, now I can get back on board with that, but that's also insane.
No. So explain this then. If the moon is some kind of dense rock, just solid as a fucking golf ball.
Well, we don't know that.
Huh?
I don't know that.
Exactly. So think of the
What are you
moon as a
saying right
rock.
now?
If you're saying the moon is a fucking rock,
Uh-huh.
yeah, super solid all the way through, like
No, that's not what
like
I'm
a cue
saying.
ball even.
That's not what I'm saying.
All right. Well, here's the thing.
not-
Why does it ring like a bell? Yes.
Shut up.
So the Apollo missions
Shut
and
up.
subsequent moon landings have been at the center of controversy and conspiracy for many, many years. There has been indeterminable debate as whether or not we actually landed on the moon at all. However, what was found there, or what was the extent of NASA, has been hiding information from us. But amid the quarreling and speculation, the number of anomalous features on the moon puzzle scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. Now, here's the deal. Toward the later end of the Apollo missions, NASA astronauts placed seismic recording devices on the lunar surface to document...
Did they?
Yeah, well, if they did go, that's the thing. So, here's the thing. Even if they didn't go, then why would they make this shit up? Here's the scientist.
To make
Here's
you
the
look
scientific
insane.
proof, Devin. Here's the scientific proof. They placed them on the lunar surface to document artificial and natural moonquakes. Now, their equipment recorded activity ranging from meteorite strikes to man-made explosions and crash landings of Apollo rockets. Even the sun's heat created seismic activity. It caused the moon to thaw on a daily basis. Duh. Now, astronauts were given a series of devices, ALSEPs, or Apollo Lunar Surface Experiment packages, to set up seismographs and initiate detonations ranging from shotgun-sized charges to mortars with multiple grenades, and eventually up to 12 tons of TNT.
Whoa.
Explosions on the moon. Now, here's what they had found.
12 tons of it?
12 tons. There's actually bigger explosions, to be honest with you, because when they launched different modules, I guess, of the rockets, it hit with the force, because they did it from so high up, it hit with the force of almost, 180 tons of TNT. And then there was actually a meteor that hit the moon during the seismic measuring time period with almost 200 tons of TNT in equivalent force. But that didn't leave a single sound coming out of there. Nothing came back from that.
I can't find anything about them exploding. What was the package called again?
That was just ALSEPs.
LEESP.
ALSEP.
ALSEP.
Yes. Apollo Lunar Surface Experiment packages. That's not even the thing you're looking up, though. Basically, you're looking for initially crash-landed Apollo modules.
No, I was looking.
The
I was looking for the TNT explosions.
Yeah, the S5B rocket setting off an explosion force equivalent of nearly 12 tons of TNT on the surface.
So they didn't detonate 12 tons of TNT.
No, a rocket that they...
Yeah, you know you did, you son of a bitch.
They dropped a rocket on there. But no, they did set shotgun charges, mortar charges, grenade charges, and other large explosions. Grenades. Obviously, they weren't grenades. They were explosions that were like plastic. Something that doesn't need an oxygenated atmosphere to be able to explode. Because grenades would work on gunpowder, so they need high oxidation of oxygen, obviously. There are giant craters called the Mansinas in the center of the marina, or lava pools that distort telemetry of spacecrafts that fly over them. But here's the weird thing. The iron meteors are supposedly what's underneath of those that causes that issue. But here's the thing. The edges of these specific craters where the lava pools are so precise. It was almost like they were constructed.
There's lava pools on the moon.
Yeah.
There's lava on the moon.
And there was.
There was.
Or there is. I highly doubt there is, but I bet there was. There's something that created that.
I would imagine.
Or a giant spaceship just melting rock so it can get to the center where the rest of their buddies are.
Or, and hear me out. When all of the material from two giant planets colliding into each other was ejected into space and slowly over millions of years turned into the moon, there was almost certainly a lot of burning material that condensed over millions of years and eventually cooled, but would have caused burning into the moon.
Maybe
Maybe
it wasn't our planet though. If it did come here because of the carbon dating of the rocks, saying that's 4 billion years old.
I couldn't find proof of that.
Yeah, it's on there. So here's the thing. Those perfectly round edges, almost like it was constructed, not formed, around those craters, right?
I got you.
So that doesn't make sense. Now, between 1969 and 1977, Apollo seismographs registered up to 3,000 moonquakes each year. Most small, but some were huge and inside of the moon. But there is more. In 1958, the Alphonse crater shook the idea that all internal movement activity was just settling rocks. November that year, they had an astronomer, Nicolet Akarsov of the Kremen Astrophysical Observatory from Russia, startled the scientific world by photographing the first recorded gaseous eruption on the moon near the crater's peaks.
So gas escaped the moon?
Yeah, this is a regular occurrence, but first documented and noticed at this time. Now, basically, the escaping fluorescent gases. He also detected a reddish glow characteristic of carbon compounds, which seemed to move and disappear after an hour or so. There was carbon compounds which seemed to move and disappear after some scientists refused to accept these calls and findings until astronomers at a local university in the United States also saw reddish colors on the crest of the ridges at the Arctesius region in 1963. Days later, colored lights on the moon, lasting more than an hour, reported in the same area to separate by two separate observatories. Now that's what we call verification. Yeah? Yeah.
I mean, give me the Google article. But
so if there's aliens, they're either harvesting it or that's part of their getting rid of the shit. Now, do I need to get to the good stuff? I mean, to me, this is all really good, and I have so much good shit here. But here's the thing, Devin. I was talking about the seismograph, it ringing like a bell for up to 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. There was even one mission where it lasted up to like 16 hours or 13 hours, where the ringing just, the whole moon rung like a fucking gong. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep that in your mind.
It's in there.
As you think that the moon is solid.
Well, hold on.
It's definitely hollow. More likely, an observatory.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is many times when during separate Apollo missions, 11, 12, 13, 14, when astronauts were going around the dark side of the moon, they would reemerge. And NASA themselves would cut transmissions of them speaking about what they just saw. They said in specific cases, and I'm going to skip ahead because we went over time on this because this is so fucking good, okay? But they had specific cases from most of the astronauts saying they have ships bigger than ours. They are massive. There's a giant spaceport. There's spaceships lined up all back on the dark side of the moon. Duh!
Yeah.
The odds of the moon being placed the way it is, Devin, we talked about this in the beginning, is literally like 1% chance. So for it to be stationary, facing us, having natural resources from what we can tell, externalizing itself from the moon bases are obviously something that is real. Whether they are occupied by humans or not, we are not sure. But if you're going to park something and observe a human race, which in the speculative design of what we had in a simulation episode, if we are living in whatever we would like to believe is a simulation or reality or whatever the case may be, if you're going to observe something in its natural state, what better place than a perfectly parked, giant, globish item structure?
I'll give you that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Where they can pick up all of our radio transmissions, video transmissions, everything that we post, everything that gets sending out to the satellites in space, those motherfuckers are getting,
the
bro.
aliens are collecting our data and selling it to China.
No, they're selling it to the alien version of China, but my point still stands.
Listen, man,
They're the TikToks of the universe.
I don't
moon
think
talk.
so.
It's moon talk.
I don't think so, but also, like, I get where you're coming from. I get it.
It's a spaceport.
I don't know about that. But yeah, that's
Well, Devin, have you ever seen the dark side of the moon? Because I haven't.
my point.
Do you know what's
exactly.
back there?
My point exactly.
Maybe it's just a facade. Maybe this whole thing is just like a giant round
The
facade. The rest of it is just like some really cool, like Star Wars looking, like partial Death Star spaceport. We don't know. We don't know. There's 2 Russian scientists who witnessed UFO encounters while up in space on the moon. One space sighting was actually while they were standing on the moon. They saw a spaceship hovering around them. So NASA would
You said Russia?
Russia, yes. And in fact, in 1962, they would regularly use code words because NASA kept cutting off their transmissions about what they were seeing. So, because major news outlets and stuff like that were able to pick up those transmissions. We can hear those conversations if you're tuned in the right frequency, of course. So here's the thing. They started using the words because it was near Christmas. They started saying things like Santa Claus was spotted on the far side of the moon.
Do you have any proof of this?
Those are actually documented. Yes.
So you have documentation of that.
The Santa Claus thing, yes, absolutely. It's in here. But like you said, we're getting close on time. In fact, I'm well over.
Yeah.
I just want to wrap up by saying that the moon does have rocks with fungi and grass. It does have other elements that have
Grass.
not. Yes, it has iron element on the moon that will not oxidize or rust. They brought back iron elements from the moon that will not oxidize or rust, which means it was processed in some way by some kind of being, because there's no way scientifically we've been able to figure out to make iron not rust. It can't be done. Not with our present technology. You tell me who's up there doing that shit. This has been Wolf Takes a Bite. I appreciate you listening to me about the moon. It is not real. It's a structure. This is fucking history. Also, aliens are real. The government came out and said it in 2020. Good night, motherfucker.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Question everything. Hey, yeah. So I saw you're having a yard sale because your company's tanking, but I was wondering how much these headphones are.
I'll tell you what, John. I've got an affiliate link in the description. You can go get yourself a pair, along with microphones and all the other equipment we use.
I'm just gonna take these.
Oh.